Ferrari kicked off its Formula 1 2021 season preparations in busy style at its Fiorano track last week with a mammoth test featuring 7 drivers over 5 days. The Italian outfit wasted little time in getting down to business with both current and future drivers as it ran through a hectic week of running with a 2018 spec Formula 1 car. As well as race winner Charles Leclerc getting his first run in F1 machinery since the season finale in Abu Dhabi in December, the week offered some firsts for the Prancing Horse squad. New signing Carlos Sainz got his Ferrari debut, whilst the week also contained an emotional outing for youngster Giuliano Alesi. But while other teams are spending their time busy behind closed doors, why was Ferrari doing so much running with an old car? Part of the answer lies in the fact that Ferrari has a slight advantage over other teams in having its own test track, so tests are much easier to organise rather than having to find somewhere open and available. The Fiorano venue, just a few minutes' drive from Ferrari's Maranello factory, was originally built in 1972 to offer Ferrari its own private facility to do as much running with its F1 cars as possible. However, ever stricter rules aimed at cutting costs have limited scope for testing, and teams are no longer allowed to run current cars outside of official testing or short promotional filming days. That meant there would be no chance for Ferrari to run contemporary machinery as it wants at Fiorano for fears of an unfair advantage. The rules do, however, allow teams to run where they want with cars that are 2 years old, as they are officially classified as previous cars. We tend to see this regularly from F1 teams. For example, last year, Renault brought Fernando Alonso out in its 2018 car a few times to get him up to speed ahead of his F1 return. While the crossover into 2021 meant Ferrari could in theory have tested a 2019 car, the SF90, the fact that its 2018 machine was already in test spec after some running for young drivers at Fiorano last year meant it was a no-brainer to use that one instead. But beyond having a readily available nearby track to run at, the main consideration for Ferrari was to give its new recruit Carlos Sainz a first experience of one of the team's cars, as there are no doubt setup differences between McLaren and Ferrari. Ferrari had been frustrated last year that the FIA declined Sainz's exemption to run at the post-season Abu Dhabi Young Driver Test. While Alonso was able to run in a current 2020 spec Renault at the Yas Marina run, the FIA only allowed drivers who had not raced in 2020, and Sainz was forced to head home as obviously he didn't qualify for this. But knowing how valuable it was to get some running behind the wheel prior to the pre-season Bahrain test, Ferrari pulled together a plan for the Spaniard to run for a day and a half at Fiorano. And although the 2018 car is very different to the 2021 SF21 that Sainz will race this coming year, there was still a big value to him running, as he talked about the aspects of where running an old car was still useful.
Of course, it's not the 2021 car, and it's very different tires, very different regulations. But today I got my first taste of a Ferrari Formula 1 car. I got my first try at the steering wheel, looking at all my systems, looking at the way I'm going to perform some of the starts. I'm going to also practice a lot talking with my engineer, practice changing all the switches on the steering wheels that, as you guys can imagine, Formula 1 cars nowadays have a lot of procedures. Getting to see my mechanics that I'm going to work with. I don't know, there's a lot of details out of this test that I'm going to find useful. But overall, the day went really well. The only thing that I couldn't try, obviously, is the 2021 car that this we will try in March.
And beyond the practicalities of working with the team and getting to know the team's systems, there was the important emotional aspect of having a first run as an official Ferrari driver too.
It's impossible for me to put into words really what goes through my mind. From entering the Fiorano track and entering the Ferrari world, you know, and seeing the mechanics, seeing the car with the number 55 on it, seeing your name. It sounds like a small detail, no? But it's seeing your name on a Ferrari car with your number is something that you will never forget. And today, seeing that, it was just incredible.
But the week wasn't just about Sainz. Leclerc also returned to the F1 cockpit, not only for the first time since Abu Dhabi, but also the first time since contracting coronavirus. Showing no ill effects from the disease, Leclerc completed a day of running to shake off the cobwebs from the winter break, but also to try to learn some new things too.
It is very useful just to get back in the rhythm with the procedures that are more or less the same. It changed a few things, but overall it's very similar. So just to get back into the rhythm, with the mechanics, working with the engineers to try and fine-tune the car, because this is the same, even though there's nobody to race against. We are always trying to find a better way to set up the car, so all of these things helps for the rest of the season.
Ferrari also gave a nod to its future as it ran 5 drivers from its Ferrari Driver Academy. Mick Schumacher, Giuliano Alesi, Marcus Armstrong, Callum Ilott and Robert Schwartzman, all F2 drivers from last year, got their fair share of running each in the Ferrari as part of an ongoing commitment to give them some F1 mileage. For Alesi, it was an especially emotional moment, both because he will be saying goodbye to the Ferrari Young Driver programme to start a new career racing in Japan, but also because it was his first ever F1 experience. Luck wasn't on Ferrari's side in 2020, as it finished in its worst position in the Constructors' Championship since 1980. However, with a new driver pairing, an updated engine setup for 21, which we spoke about in our previous video, and Sainz getting an early look at some Ferrari machinery, there's a chance that the Maranello squad could enjoy better times this season. Let us know what you think about Ferrari's chances for the year ahead in the comments section below.